listen, they know, okay? These players, especially the older ones, the veterans, the champions, they know. But that's not going to prevent anybody from, achieving something productive with the NHL season that begins tonight here in New York. Good morning to you. Good Tuesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Penguins. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Pirates. But tonight belongs to hockey. Penguins versus Rangers is an 8:15 p.m. face-off at Madison Square Garden. The visitors are facing their former coach for the first time. The new coach is facing his previous employer, and who cares? It's hockey. It's Sidney Crosby. It's Evgeny Malkin. It's Chris Letang. It's not one, but two teenagers making the roster, Ben Kindle and Harrison Brunick. It's a fresh start in a number of ways, something that I felt Sid laid out pretty nicely yesterday after the final practice in Cranberry.
Yeah, I think it's been a good camp. I think we, tried to get on the same page as best we can, and obviously until you play real games, that's going to come. But I think it's been organized and intense and competition for jobs. So I think all that combined, it's been good, and it's time to get going now.
Lots and lots there about Dan Muse, and that's the person around whom most of the buzz has been throughout this training camp. The players are immersed in what this guy's doing, and this guy's immersed in this season, which, if you think about it, makes for all kinds of, head shake or shrug type of scenarios, because it's clear as day that Kyle Dubas and management see this season as one in which it's just another step in the process back toward contention. Well, you say it out loud, it gets heard, and what are the players supposed to think? What is the new coach supposed to think? What am I? Am I just another building block? Am I the guy that's going to lead the revolution but not necessarily be head of state afterward? What does Sid think? The Penguins are sitting on $11 million in cap space, and he's the one who took a lot less money to stay through that final extension of his? What's Gino supposed to think? He doesn't necessarily want this to be his last year. He's made that known. But he also can't force the Penguins to sign him to another contract. What's Letang supposed to think? He might have regressed as much as any of them this past season. And I say that with immense respect to everything that he's achieved. But does he think that they think he's on an inevitable decline? What's Erik Karlsson supposed to think? He's the highest paid player. The GM criticized him pretty sharply after this past season, related to his effort and passion and how much more he showed of both of those things when representing Sweden as opposed to representing Pittsburgh. What are Brian Rust and Ricard Raquel supposed to think? Their names only came up in every single piece of trade speculation over the past few months, and Dubas really did nothing to douse any of that. And this one is probably not one that would cross most minds, but I've got maybe a little bit of a different mind with this stuff. What are the kids supposed to think? This was something that was at the forefront of my cranium during that last preseason game in that second period. You remember that one. It was one where Buffalo scored 4 times and everything looked flat as a pancake. And you could tell that the kids who'd been involved in more games and obviously more energy and more competition were ready to keep doing that, but that the older guys were like, preseason, let's just get through this without getting hurt. So the kids were like, I don't want to show up, these really big names, so I'm not exactly going to go out on a limb here either. Third period comes along. Everybody seems to reach some sort of unwritten agreement that we're all going to play hard, and they do what they do and roar back and beat the Sabres. But what if that becomes a thing? What if the kids want to go hard and they see that the vets, or some of the vets, or even one of the vets, aren't that interested. So many questions. But the answers, the potential answers on multiple fronts, I find intriguing enough that I think this is going to be, in all kinds of ways, a lot of fun. I'm eager to see this next step. I'm eager to see who rises up and really represents. The way Kindle and Brunicar, the way Ville Koivunen and Rutger McGroarty when he's healthy will have a chance to be. The way Tristan Brose and Owen Pickering will have a chance to be when they get up here. The way Sergei Murashov will have his opportunity as well. And even some of the guys that we don't pay as much attention to but are younger, like Phil Tomasino, Philip Hollander. And from there, you get the quotient, the ratio of younger players higher on the active roster. You start seeing more, for better or worse. We're all going to see stuff that we don't like in addition to what we do. We're going to see some ugly mistakes. And we're going to see more than one of these young players kind of fall off. That's just the way these things go. That's the precedent. That's the math. But I'll take all of that over the directionless. What the heck is this team's future? Are they heading back to 2003? Pittsburgh can't support hockey without a superstar. All that stuff. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. Right here, tonight in New York. When we come back, J1Q.
Hey guys, if you're planning to see a concert or a Penguins game, once the NHL season starts, use the Game Time app to get your tickets. You can snag new ticket deals before anyone if you set it into app alerts. The app is easy to use. No surprise fees at checkout. You can see your seat view before buying, and you're getting legit tickets delivered on time. If you're not much of a planner, you can get last-minute deals on tickets right up to the start of an event. Lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the Game Time app and enter the code DK Penguins in your app profile for $20 off your first purchase.
Today's J1Q comes from Richard, who says, DK, why isn't Sergei Murashov starting on opening night? He should be. He was by far the best in goal during the preseason. Richard, take this from somebody who's been in Murashov's corner from the start and who's not about to abandon his corner. But the idea, first off, let's just get this out of the way, that he was excellent in the preseason or that he outshone everybody else. He was in 2 games. He was in 2 preseason games. He logged a total of 74 minutes on the ice. I could take any goaltender who's ever spent a minute of time in professional hockey, any level, and find a way to get 74 really good minutes out of them. So let's throw that out of the equation. I believe in Murashov. I believe he's the most talented goaltender that the Penguins have. I believe he's the most talented they've had in some time. But I also believe that he's not played more than 17 games in the AHL. And I have seen instances, and so have you, in his preseason games where he'll just kind of, I don't think it's lapsing out. It's not, because that implies a lack of concentration, but he'll make a really big mistake. And you'll just say, oh, well, yeah, I mean, he's so talented and he's so young that we don't really care about that. But you don't want those to happen at the NHL level, because what can happen at the NHL level is that they can multiply and then get magnified, and then they become expected, and then they creep into your confidence. Since Murashov has been in North America, please take this from the same standpoint that I've been laying all of this out in, which is that I'm not remotely against him in any way. But since he's been here, including in the minor leagues, including in Wheeling, he has been prone to making a mistake like that, whether it's the shootout puck that goes up in the air off his shoulder and then trickles down his back like we saw in a preseason game, whether it's something like what we saw the other night on Alex Tuck's rising wrister that kind of caromed off his shoulder and then died down at his feet. He didn't know where it was. Dude swings by for the easiest goal of his life. You want to get that cleaned up as much as possible down there. This is not me defending management or anything like that. This is definitely not me burying this kid. But this idea that he earned the starting night job, no. Would it be more fun for us to watch the game tonight, or in my case, to cover the game tonight here in New York, knowing that he's starting? Sure, it'd be a blast. The priority has to be him. The priority has to be Murashov's development. I feel like Kyle Dubas did a good job of laying that out earlier this summer when he stated open goaltending competition. However, there will be development considerations along the way. That's what he was talking about. That's all he was talking about. It wasn't about Yoel Blomqvist, because Blomqvist's already been in the NHL. He's already had a taste. He's had a lot more time at the AHL level. He was talking solely about Murashov. He was letting everybody know with essentially a neon sign that nothing that Murashov was going to do in this camp was going to get him to start the season in Pittsburgh. He needed to show well. He did that. He'll get here. He'll get here. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Penguins. I really appreciate those of you who stuck it out with me over a long off season. But tonight, here at Madison Square Garden, it finally gets real.